Okay, I believe we are live right now, and say it's Edmund here, and in this special video training, I'm going to show you how to use OptimizePress 3 as a page builder. And I envision this to be a somewhat lengthy video because I'm going to be as thorough as I can to show you how to build your page, something like this, yeah, whether it's a sales page, landing page, home page, or any other marketing pages, using the wonderful OptimizePress 3. And it's something I've been using for several years. In fact, I used it when it was just simply known as OptimizePress 1, yeah, about 10 years ago, 2012, 2013, I started to use it. And since then, they've been evolving, and now it's a drag and drop page builder. And the last time I did a video like this was back in 2020. And OptimizePress 3 has added quite some new features ever since. So I would say that, you know, it's not only like massive value for money, you not only save a lot, but you actually get a lot of wonderful features where elsewhere, other page builders, you have to pay on a monthly basis, which is a bit costly for some people. And you still need like third-party plugins, but OptimizePress 3 can do like most, if not all of it. So enough rambling. I'm going to show everything from scratch as if you are a beginner. And if any of you are wondering, why am I doing such a video tutorial when maybe OptimizePress has already released their own tutorials, right? Now, I've gone through it before, and I find that it's rather basic, and they didn't even explore the full potential or half of it themselves. So I'm going to show you from my perspective. Disclaimer, I've been using OptimizePress 3 for quite some years. I've been an internet marketer for several years as well. However, I am not a professional webmaster. That means I don't know those HTML, PHP, 3-4 letter words and things like that. Yeah, but which is good news. That means you watching this right now, yeah, as long as you know how to point and click your mouse, you know how to drag and drop, you can do something like this too. Okay, so right now, I'm going to be jumping into showing an example of one of my sales pages. So this is me selling one of my books over here. And what we're going to do right now is that I'm going to be using this as a case study, and we're going to try to recreate a page like this from scratch. Okay. Now, to get started, make sure that you have already installed and configured your OptimizePress in your WordPress site. Okay, which is what we're going to do right now. This is one of my own sites. Okay. You got to log into your WordPress admin. I'm going to skip this part, by the way, because if you want to know how to set up install your OptimizePress, that would be something that would be fit for another video. And that's something you should be watching first before you even get here, and this will make sense, all right? So from here on out, I'm going to show you how to use OptimizePress to build your page from scratch, okay? And yes, I do have a certain agenda. The list is in my notepad. I'll be putting that in the video description by the time I upload this, complete with timestamp. So let's all have fun. And if you want to re-review this video, I would recommend you do it. Okay. Now, what we'll cover in this on-screen demonstration is quite simply this: how to build your marketing pages with OptimizePress 3 from scratch. Okay. So whether it's a sales page, landing page, thank you page, members area, we're going to do it all. All right. Okay. So to get started, what we're going to do is that once you log into your WordPress admin, like what I'm doing with one of my pages, my WordPress sites here right now, is that you can see there's this thing called OptimizePress. Okay, we're going to click on create new page. Yeah, the whole thing's real time, by the way. So hopefully the internet connection is a little bit better this time around. Otherwise, I might edit a bit. Okay, all right. So you can see that right off the bat, you can start off with any of these beautiful templates, which is how I got my start. Learning how to use OptimizePress literally overnight, all right? But hey, what we're going to do this time is that we're going to start from scratch, okay? We're going to go to template library. We're going to look for a blank template. Okay, yep, that's exactly what we're going to be using. We're going to click on the first one here, template library, blank templates, blank template. Use this template, and you can give it a page name right off the bat, because whatever you write here will appear at the top of the browser tab, right? Of course, you can change the name afterwards, but right now I'm just going to call it test sales page, okay? Or maybe I'll just call it test page, right? Nothing serious right now because it really is a test. And let's click on create page. So unlike the previous version, what OptimizePress 3 does is that it loads all the things that you're seeing on the blue screen here right now. And okay, I think it's relatively fast. It's just like several seconds and we are ready to go. So over here, this is what we call a live editor mode. So we can start adding our content here. And I will also encourage you to make it a habit to save your page regularly, okay, at the top right. So right now there's nothing to save because it's a blank new thing. And now, before you get excited and start adding the first content whatsoever, what I'm going to do is that we're going to go through the basic page setup. All right. So if you take a look at the top here, that's at the top left, there's a menu. Let's go to settings. Okay. So just real quick, I would say a quick list of, if you go to page settings, you can list anything here. If you want to change your page title, you can do that. If you want to add a description, you can do that. But I personally, I don't really come here to do it. Okay. If you want to, you can. All right. Page optimizations, I recommend you just leave it alone. Page background, okay, so generally I would prefer to just leave it default, which is white color, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But if for some strange reason you want to choose another color, I say red, you can see that's how the colors come out, right? Which I think is a little bit too bright. Okay, if you want to choose black, okay, but it's got that, like, you know, the porno website feel. Okay, so I think we'll just go with white. Okay, now if you know your color codes, you can just put in manually over here. And you can also change the opacity. So opacity means like transparency. Yeah, you can do that as well. There are other colors, but there you go. Right now, I'm going to just keep it white. I think it's good enough. Now, if you want to add a background image, you can as well. But I'm just going to let you know as a practice, I don't do that. Okay. Typography. Okay. Now, I will say this is more important. We're going to cover that in a short while. So that's another thing I think is important to set up. Now, page scripts. Now, for those advanced users, if any of you would like to add those like FB pixel, okay, Google tag, tracking script whatsoever, you're going to be adding here. So there's a header, body, and footer. Okay, so this is for advanced users. You know what I'm talking about. You'll be adding your scripts over here. All right. Now, as for the rest, you know, like custom CSS, you don't really need to touch this. I've never touched this before. It's my first time seeing it, by the way, just to go through you. Optimized funnels is an advanced feature, which I also don't use. And export template. Now, if you want to save this template and share it with your other websites or your other users, this would be something you can click on as well. But I would say that this is more for an advanced user. Okay. Now, as for the rest, like override and revisions template, this is you can just ignore it. Okay. So that's a quick rundown on the settings. Now let's go to typography, which is what we have skipped just now. All right. So as a general rule of thumb, you want to be using mainly one type of font throughout the entire web page. Okay, so if you want to set up your headline, your body size, and everything, it's going to be here. And this is something a lot of beginners don't really think about. Yeah, so what they do is that they start doing things manually, which would become a messy thing afterwards. Now, if it's a short page, that's fine, but if it's a long sales page, that's going to be a problem. So every time I see beginners build a web page, right, what happens is they will try to do everything manually, and the worst part I saw is that all the fonts are different. So the headline may be in Tahoma, the body may be in Arial, the headline, another one may be like cursive and things like that. So we don't want that. We're going to use one font all the way. All right. So this is a heading one. I like to align it in the center. So normally when we build landing page and sales page, you should always align to the center by default. So that saves you a bit of energy and time. Let's go to, you click on this T icon. If you want any types of font, it's over here. Now, this is a long list. I can't go through each and every one because it's really, really long. Yeah, but I think most of, you see, even like in the initial letters, there's like a lot of them already. Personally, I would like to go with what I call Google fonts. So I think Poppins is a good font already. Let's just go with Poppins. Okay. If you want to change the color, you can. So now it's dark color. I think I prefer this particular shade of black. So I'm going to go with that. All right. I will also change the size here. I think 32 is fine. Line height, I'll put 1.3 personally because 1.5 is a little bit far away. Okay. You can copy me, by the way, or you can play on your own as well. All right. So the second one is called heading 2. So if you have any like sub headlines, right, this will be it. Okay. I'm going to align it to the center. Let's change the color to the same as well. So keep it consistent, guys. Don't be too different. Otherwise, it's going to be very weird. Okay, Poppins as well. So what beginners do, right? They're going to change it to like some other weird font. I'm going to keep it consistent, Poppins all the way. Size, I'm going to make it a bit bigger, 27. Line height, 1.3. And that's good. Okay, now, if you want to use heading 3, 4, 5, 6, you can. But personally, I don't really use them. Yeah, only heading 1, heading 2. If any of you are a bit lost right now, you don't know what those things are, it'll make sense in a short while. Okay, now, next one, I think is the most obvious one, and that is the body. All right, this is the paragraph. And the default size is 16, which is a bit small. I like either 18 to 20, which in this case, I think 18 is fine. And you see that the font family is so different. It's IBM Plexens, whatever that is here. I like to make it Poppins again. Remember, guys, one font all the way. Yeah, one font all the way. And the next part is the color. Okay, now I like to make it a little bit lighter over here personally, but as you can see, that is generally black color. Yeah, black color. All right. Next one, this is what I call the list items. We're going to make it the same as above. Change it to pop-ins. Size will be the same, 18 as well. Otherwise, it's going to look a bit small. Same color, 474747. Now you can drag it around if you want to, but I'm just giving you a heads up that it's better to keep it consistent here. All right. Now this is the color of the link or hyperlink if you want to. I'm going to leave it alone. All right. So far so good. I'm going to click close. All right, and we're going to save it. All right. Are these templates in OptimizePress? Yes, they already are. Okay. So we're done with the setting up and the typography already. And what we're going to do next is that we're going to do the first thing ever, and that's how we're going to add a section, a row, and a column. All right. So I know there's like, wow, what is three things together? So every time you look at a page, like let's say, for example, this, right? Or even this for that matter, you should be looking at it as building it by section and row and column. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So when you're seeing it for the first time, yeah, it might be a bit, you don't understand what's going on, but trust me, the moment you do it once, you kind of get what's going on. So think of it as like containers, okay? So you can see they already asked you to add a first section, all right? We're going to click on that and select the column layout. So there's a 1 column, 2, 3, and so on, all right? Now let's kick things off rather simple. I'm going to show you 1 column, all right? So this is what it looks like by default. If you're curious to know what a 2 column looks like, it'll look something like this, okay? Left side, right side, and 3 columns, and so on. But if you don't want this, you can select the section and click on this trash icon and delete it, all right? So we already added our first section. So this whole thing here is called a section, all right? And if you want to know what you're editing exactly, take a look at the top here. You see there's a word called section. So that means you're editing the section, all right? And if I'm editing the row by clicking on this, so it shows me that I'm now editing the section and then the row, all right? And you see this additional transparent box inside, this is the column, all right? So section, row, column. So when you're doing it for the first time, yeah, it might seem a little bit unusual, but yeah, like I said, the moment you do it once or twice, perhaps, you kind of catch what is going on, okay? So this is kind of where we add in the content and where do they go to. So you notice we're not using any HTML whatsoever, it's all drag and drop, all right? I advise you to play around. You can build a website for yourself or even for your friends or your loved ones, yeah, just for the fun of it. Okay, now, first of all, let's go to the section and mind our spacing. All right, we're going to mind our spacing. So you can see first off, right, every time you build anything, whether it's a section, row, or column, there's always going to be spacing at the sides, okay, on the side, top, and bottom. All right, so how do we edit that? So when you click on section, you see there's this gear icon here. Okay, we click on that. And do you see there's this thing called space above and space below? But I'll prefer to go to the advanced options because right now you have a better idea on the spacing at the top and bottom, all right, and left and right. So I would like to make it a little bit less. I like to put 48, for example. And now it's a little bit smaller, all right, but within reason, yeah. Not too spacious, but just nice, all right. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to change the color for the section, you can by clicking on this background options. Background color, you can change anything you want. All right, so how many we're seeing here, you want to change the blue color, you can just play around, yeah. But right now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to just put black color, okay. 2D, okay, I think that's a good color. All right, just for the fun of it, we're going to put black color here right now. Now, if you want to add an image, you can as well. In fact, for the fun of it, I'm just showing you how we can add a background image, okay. We'll click on set image. And these are pictures I already uploaded into my WordPress account. Now, for a new account, you're not going to see anything over here. You can click on upload files and you can just drag and drop here. Right now, I'm not going to do it because I already have the pictures I want here. But I'm just letting you know that you can add pictures here from your computer and it'll be uploaded. All right. So right now, I'm just going to add one of the pictures I may have from before. Okay, which is this one. All right. So let's just say I'm going to use this. I'm going to click insert into page. And there we go. All right, we got background that we can use. You can actually adjust anyhow you want, but I'm not going to play too much here because it's a bit subjective. You can play however you want it. Okay, you can have the background fixed. You can have it repeat. You can change the size. It's totally up to you. Okay, so it's a bit subjective right now. And even to be very frank, I kind of just play around until I like the background. All right, so Interestingly, you can even add a video background as well, but I don't like doing it because, guys, the thing about building a sales page or a landing page is that you expect that 90% of the people to view your website from a mobile, and they may not be connected to Wi-Fi. They could be using a mobile data. So the thing is that you want to make sure the site load as fast as possible. So if there's anything that's not useful or shouldn't be on the site, then it shouldn't be. That's kind of why I don't add videos on the playing in the background. Don't give them a reason to like take so long to load, and then they give up and then they leave your website, right? So don't do that. Okay, cool. So let me just save it for now. Okay, fantastic. So that's the section. Okay, we haven't talked about what's in the row and what's in the column yet. Okay, so for the row, same thing. You can see that you can actually adjust the height as well. I like to put 0 for all this, by the way. So this is the kind of like my personal way of doing things. For my row, I like to put 0 on all the values here so that there's like not any space whatsoever. And interestingly, if you take a look at the width, right, by default it's 1140. Now, I don't have a magic number for you, but personally, I like to put it 960. So it's a little bit narrow. And because I build normally sales pages and landing pages, there's no reason for them to be like stretching from one end to the screen to the other. Yeah. So if you make it too wide, people are gonna be, you know how like computer screens are getting like bigger nowadays. They are like going from left to right. Okay, so it's kind of like not comfortable for us. I like keep it in the middle here. Okay, so 960 is the figure that I use. You can follow me as well. And there we go. Right. So we got a column inside, and that is how we build a section, row and column. So I know I've kind of like spent a bit of time explaining this, and I think it's worth it because we're going to be repeating this again and again throughout the training and throughout our page building exercise. Okay, so yeah, that's how you adjust the spacing as well. For the first time, yeah, you're not sure what's going on, but once you do it once or twice, you get it. All right. I've also shown you how to change the background color and background image. But interestingly, guys, if you want to change the color for this particular row, you can as well. So what you want to do is that take a look at the top here. You can select column, row, or section. Let's go to row. Let's click on this. And let's just say for some reason, we want to make it white color. All right, there you go. So you got a white box with a black background. How many of you see like, okay, this is kind of cool, huh? Kind of cool. But if you don't want that, that's okay. You can either click on this icon here, which is undo, or you can just manually go here and change it all over again. All right. But right now, there's a reason for me. I want to leave it this way because I want to start adding stuff. Huh? That means content. All right. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do right now, next is that we are going to add a headline. All right. We're going to add a headline together. And for those of you who are watching this right now, hey, maybe just type the word headline into the chat box right now. Yeah. So I know you're following me on this also. All right. So how do we start adding stuff? Yeah. Or adding content? So you go to this thing top left called elements, and this is kind of where we're going to be dragging stuff in. All right. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm not sure if you're able to cover every single one of them, but I'll cover the main ones most importantly. Okay. So we're going to click on essential elements and this thing called headline. All right. We're going to click on this with the mouse, and then we're going to drag it here. Okay. So you can see there's this thing called append to column, right? We're going to drag it there. So every time you see this blue check, like the blue thing over here, we're going to drop it here. All right. And there we go. So we have the words over here. And this is where we're going to be putting our words. So of course, I already have my content ready to go. I'm just going to copy and paste it over here. So this kind of why, guys, personally, as a practice, why I like to write my content on a notepad is so that I can copy and paste the contents over here later, like right about now. All right. Free book, Jersey Garden Secrets to Growing Your Business Online. Okay, so I know what you're thinking right now. It's kind of hard to read because, guys, it's a black text over a black background. So normally you want to contrast it like bright over dark or dark over bright. So in this case, I will put gold color. So I'm going to change it here. So how do I do it? Is that I click on this headline. Yeah, headline. You go to this color palette, and we're going to change the color. All right. So reminder, guys, you want to keep the color consistent. So if it's going to be this color, for example, all right, I'm just making it up right now, this color code here. And if I'm going to repeat this gold color again, I'll be using it again and again throughout the website. All right. So let's just say this is the color that we want. Okay, I think I like this shade. Okay, so let's go with that. Okay, cool. How many of you think this kind of makes sense right now? Yeah. Now, next thing you can do is that you can also click on this T icon. Do you see this thing called pop-ins over here? That was the font that we have chosen just now. Now, if by any chance you want to change the font for this one, you can over here, like this ABZ, whatever this is, okay? But guys, remember, always use one standard font throughout the entire web page. So you don't want to be jumping around or else it's going to look really weird. Yeah, this is not like GeoCities from the 90s anymore, right? Now let's take a look at size, and this is basically heading 2. It's a bit small. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to styling, all right? I'm going to tag it as headline 1. So it's a little bit bigger. And if I want to make the font a bit more bigger, I can as well. So maybe I'm just going to make it size 36, all right? Okay, there we go. All right. Maybe I'll make it 1.3. All right. Okay, the space is a little bit too big, right? 1.3. All right. Styling. I prefer to call it headline 1. All right. So this is the biggest font in the website right now. We're gonna do that. All right. So this kind of why a lot of beginners don't even think about using this. They just do things very manually, which visually looks okay, but it's going to be very messy when you do a long page editing afterwards. So you see headline 1, headline 2. So I'm gonna call it headline 1 for what it is. Okay. Next up. Okay. You can notice that it's aligned center by default, but if you want to move it to the left, to the right, you can if you want to, all right? Next up, if you want to put a shadow on text, you can as well. So this system called text shadow. You can put a shadow if you want to. Maybe in this case, I'll just put it for the fun of it. Normally, I don't do that, but just to show you how to do it, yeah, I'll do it here right now. The styling, you can even angle the shadow, all right, if you want to, but I'm going to leave it alone. I think that's good enough, all right? Again, let's save the work. Make it a habit to save your work every now and then. All right. Okay, great. So that's the headline. Next up, how do we add the text? Okay, so this is what I call the normal words, the paragraph. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Let's click at the top left on the plus icon. We're going to add an element called paragraph. So those of you who are watching this right now, I want you to type the word paragraph into the chat box right now. So I know you're following me on this, right? Paragraph. So these are the few components or the elements that we're always using, all right? Okay. All right. So there was some words over here. I'm just going to copy and paste a basic text here for a while, all right? Okay, so again, if you notice that it's a bit hard to read, you can change the color because it's a dark text over a dark background. I want to change it to maybe F, 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 F. So F times 6, yeah? So it's a code color for white. You can just drag it manually if you want to, right? So, okay, I think this might work, and it's aligned to the left. If you want to align it to the center, you click on this text align, and let's click on this, and there we go. All right, so I know it's a little bit hard to read even on this background, but yeah, I'm just showing you roughly here. And the text size is currently 18. If you want to just reduce it a little bit more, you can as well, all right? Maybe in this case, I'll just leave it low at size 18, just showing you what is possible. And there we go, all right? So far, so good, yeah? I'll be doing this quite a bit more afterwards to show you more examples, okay? All right, so you already know how to add a headline, you know how to add a text, and what if we add an image, all right? What we're going to do is add an image. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to add an image right now at the top left. Let's select image and let's just drag it down here for now, all right? So again, you can upload any pictures that you deem fit and put it here. But since I already have done it, I'm going to put maybe this one, or maybe I'll put this one, okay? Click insert into page, and there we go, all right? So how many of you are finding this pretty useful right now? And it's not as difficult as most people make it out to be. Yeah? You've got a headline, you've got the text, you've got image, all right? So these are some of the most common things you expect to put into a marketing page, all right? And we are just getting started, all right? Even though this is more majority of the time you're using it. Now, next one, how are we going to add a video, all right? That's what I'm going to do right now. So personally, I like to put my videos on YouTube and put them as privacy unlisted so that there's a bit of exclusivity going on, right? And this is actually one of the few reasons why I am doing this new OptimizePress 3 training, because there's been quite some added features and improved ones, and this is one of them. So why am I so excited about it? Let me show you. So as usual, again, we're going to go to the top left. We'll click on elements, and we're going to look for video. All right, there we go. Let's drag it maybe here. So you notice you can actually drag anywhere you want, all right? I'm just going to put it in between here, all right? So this is a placeholder right now. So if you click on the play icon, you can see that the video source can be from any of this. It can be from Vimeo, Wistia, external, wherever, all right? But I want to put YouTube because I want to play a YouTube video over here, all right? So for that reason, I'm going to go to my YouTube channel right now, on my YouTube account. And let's just take one random video, by the way, yeah? Oh, that looks appetizing. Okay. Yeah, just for the fun of it. All right, let me just see any nice videos that we can just use. Oh, currently, I mean, as I type this video, that's John Wick 4. Yeah, John Wick 4. All right. I'm just being random, by the way. This is actually by right. You should be putting your what I call your proper video. But just for the fun of this training, I'm gonna put some other video instead. All right, just put John Wick 4 video trailer and let's see what happens. And there we go. All right. So guys, I know this just I'm just messing around here. You can put any video you want, but of course, when this is a serious, you're going to actually launch this, you're going to actually be selling and marketing. It has to be your own proper video. Okay. But anyways, just for fun. There we go. All right. So you can adjust the size. Right now, the maximum width is 100%. So guys, one thing I want to just draw your attention to, right, is that most of the time people are going to be watching this on mobile, okay? And you don't want to be stretching from one end to the other. I recommend you change this to pixel. And let's put it as 720. Yeah, I think 720 is a good size. All right. Let's go to video advanced, and this is where I'm actually excited about this. We can click on autoplay. Not mute, no loop, modest branding, yes, and optimize related, yes. Player controls, normal circumstances, I'll put no, because if it's a sales video, I don't want people to be scrolling from beginning to anywhere, yeah? So if it's going to be a sales video, I recommend you turn off the controls. So this will be your setting. This can also be a sticky video. That means if you click yes, the video will follow you around. So maybe click on preview. It will kind of like follow you or to follow the visitor as they scroll down, right? So sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't do that. Right now, I'm not going to do it, right? So I'm going to click no. Magic overlay. Now, this is a recent feature as of the time of this training. So it wasn't there all this while, right? If you click video magic overlay, and it's something I really like because some of you have been to some of these marketing pages, right? You can see there's this click for sound, and you start playing a sort of like a preview. I tell you what, speaking of preview, why don't we see our work for now, right? Let's click on save. And let's preview this page right now, okay? Let's click on this eye icon at the top right to preview it. How many of you notice that this is like autoplay? Yeah? And this will also do the same on mobile, just that you won't play the sound. Yeah? If people are interested, they'll click on it. And then it plays with the sound.
Goodbyes. Saying hello.
There we go. All right. Let me just take a look at the chat box for a while. Okay, useful indeed. Okay, cool. Now, one thing I want to draw attention to is the spacing, right? So how many of you are starting to notice that the spacing between the headline, the videos are kind of getting too close for comfort. So what we're going to do is that we're going to add a spacing in the middle. And that's one way I'll show you very easy is that I like to put a bottom spacing. Okay, so let's say, for example, free book, this is a headline. And if it's a bit too close, I'm going to click on this gear icon. Space below element is currently 12. Now, if I put 0, it'll be like there's going to be no space at all. And if I drag this, the further the value, the further it's going to go away. All right. So I don't think that's too far away. That's not good. So it's going to be very awkward. Normally, I like to put 24, right? So it's kind of respectable enough. I like, to go in like 10s or 12s for that matter. I think 24 is a good one. I'm going to do the same for this video as well. Click on the gear icon, space below element. I'm going to put perhaps 24. All right. And there we go. So, it's starting to shape up. All right. How many of you noticed that this is starting to look like one of the typical or the sales letters that you're always used to seeing? All right. And let's do the next one, right? What we're going to do right now is that we're going to add a button. All right. So why do we need a button? Because we want them to have a call to action. All right. So how do we add a button? As usual, at the top left, I'm going to click on that plus icon. We're going to look for button. Now, if you know what the elements are called, you can even type it rather quickly up here. Type but, which is button. We can click on that. And we're going to drag it here. So I'm just showing you, as you start to get more used to it, you don't have to like see the whole thing. You can just search the thing really quick, all right? So let's just say I want to drop it down here right now. And as you can see on your left, we can choose any color scheme, or I would say a template in advance, right? So in this case, I like to go with normally orange or yellow because those are like the colors for call to action. Sometimes I might even put red for the matter. So let's just say for the fun of it, I'm going to go with maybe, I shouldn't think too much. Maybe I'll just go with this one. All right. So the default button goes here. There are quite a few things you can do with the button, by the way. I know we haven't set up the call to action or anything just yet. That's okay. So you can choose a design and then you can change a little bit, right? Let's go to button settings. The width, if you want to adjust it, that'd be great. I like to keep it the same as the video, by the way. So if the video is 720 pixels, I'm going to do the same thing as well. Okay. Icon, if you want, you can put visible. So that's going to be an icon. You can choose anyone if you want over here. But I'm going to leave it alone. I think this is good enough. And icon properties, yeah, we'll just leave that alone, all right? Subtext, we don't need that, all right? Now let's go to the text over here. So how many of you noticed that the font here is a little bit different from the rest? So I like to make it pop-ins again. So guys, always keep it consistent, all right? You don't want to be jumping around, okay? You can change the size. I think 22 is a bit weird. It's either 24 or I think 20 is good, all right? Styling, if you want to change styling, you can. I'll let you play around with this if you want to. Normally, I don't meddle with that, all right? So let's go to color next, all right? So there's a background color, which is the button color or the text color. So I think it's better to have it black text, all right? I think black looks good, just like John Wick, all right? There we go. Now, if you want to change the color of the button, you can. Let's just say for some reason we want it to be black color, red color, all right? Okay. If you want to, you can actually adjust the shade around. If you want to, maybe just for the fun way, I'm going to use a button just to show you some examples. And if the text, maybe it doesn't look so good in black right now, let's go with white color. All right, so maybe this looks better. Now, if you want to add in the word here, like, okay, how do I change the word here? Just take your mouse, hover here, and there we go. You can select this thing, all right? I'm just calling it get instant access now. All right, I'm just making it up. Okay, now, if you want to send people to another website or another call to action, you click on link options, and yeah, you can choose however you want it. You can link to another website, which is maybe your order form. You can even put show pop-up overlay, which I'm not going to show right now. I'm going to show afterwards, all right? So right now, if you're not sure what should go over here, I'm just going to put a hashtag, just as it is right now. Link target, it can open on the browser itself, or it can open in a new tab, all right? So I'm going to just leave it alone right now because we don't have a plan just yet. And if you're wondering, okay, admin, I don't want a button to be here, or any of this, I want to shift things around. You're going to notice there's this like cross icon over here. It's called move element. So if you click on that, hold on, you can actually just move it down here. You can move it up here or anywhere for the matter. All right. So this would apply to anywhere else. All right. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to duplicate it, you can just click on clone. There we go. And if you don't want this, once again, you can click on the delete element or the trash icon, all right? Now, interestingly, guys, for the button, there are a little bit more advanced stuff I want to show you, which is actually quite easy. How many of you have been to my website before? You see some buttons like, it's like pulsating, bouncing, and things like that to catch attention. What you do is that on the left here, go to button effect, and then there's button effect style. You can choose anything you want here. So there's you can make it bounce, all right? You can make it rocking, all right? Or how about even more, all right? Pause it and vibrate and so on, all right? So I'm just like to put a bounce at the moment. So, okay, it shows that it's animating, it gets people's attention, all right? And yes, it does help boost your conversions a bit, yeah? So I'm not only showing you how to use the OptimizePress 3, I'm also showing you some like little things you can use to make it like boost conversions, okay? Now, if you want to edit the button a little bit more, you can go to borders. You can add any border you want. So I'm going to go with 3D border. Okay, if you find the corners a little bit too round, you can go for square or slightly rounded, which is something that I like. Fully rounded, I don't quite like it. So I'm going to go with slightly rounded. If you want to add shadow, you can. I think it might look good. Inner shadow if you want to, but I don't touch that, all right? So again, guys, whatever I'm showing you is all the basic stuff. You can play around and you can get fun, yeah? Because whatever I'm showing you, by the way, you can be doing this for a client and they'd be impressed. It looks like you're building $1 million website for them, but actually, between you and me, yeah, it's quite doable, all right? And once again, if there's no space at the bottom, like this one right now, you click on the gear icon, space below element, I think let's just go with, 12 this time around. So not too far away. So it's up to you guys. Just experiment with the spacing that you want. All right. So we already have, a semblance, yeah? So above the fold, we've got a headline, we've got a video, we've got a call to action button. All right, so we're on to something already. Okay, so I know there's an image over here, it looks kind of weird. I'm going to show you like how we're going to move it afterwards. All right. So next up, I'm going to show you how to add an overlay pop-up. Since we are here right now, I might as well show you how to do it. Okay. So what is an overlay pop-up? Let me show you an example. I'm going to go to one of my other websites right now, maybe elextreme.com. All right. So this is one of my landing pages. Now, this was built with a slightly older version of OptimizePress, all right, but still the same. So when I say overlay pop-up, it basically means this. When you click on the button, then you see something showing up, all right? This is what I call overlay pop-up, all right, or pop-up in short. So if you want people to click on a button and then something shows up, this is what I'm going to do right now, okay? So in this case, I know this is supposed to be a sales page, but I'm just showing you for demonstration's sake, all right? So at the top here, do you see there's this like square with an arrow pointing in? And we're going to click on create. You can do either one. Create opt-in overlay is going to be a template, or create blank if you want to do from scratch. So I tell you what, for a beginner, let's go click create opt-in overlay so that you have a template that you can work on, all right? So let's just say you can type in get my book free as an example. Enter your details below to get your instant access, all right? So you can change the color here if you want to, like this background of the row, you can change it. Okay, you can see the opacity is like 100%. You can change the thing here. I'm going to change it to 2D, 2D, 2D. So it's the same black color, all right? This one, if you want to change the headline, you can as well. The size is not really what I want. I think it's a bit too big. I'm going to make it size maybe 27. Okay, I think that's good. All right, get my book free. Or actually, I'm going to change it to headline 1. All right. There we go. All right. And if you, how many of you notice that there's a slight space at the bottom? Okay, if you don't want that, you can remove the space here to 0, which I think is good. All right. Change the color. Okay, now if you notice, guys, even though it's supposed to be fully white, but the opacity is a little bit low, that means it's like a bit transparent. You can actually increase it back to 100 if you want to. Okay, so if you want to be like 80%, yes, you can. All right. So this is what I call an opt-in form, right? So if you already integrated your autoresponder, you're going to be doing it here. I'm not going to talk to you about how to integrate your autoresponder because I feel that that is a little bit off topic. But anyways, let's just do this right now. How about this? I'm going to delete this and show you from scratch, all right? So if you want to start adding an opt-in form, you'll be going to your elements on the left and look for this thing called opt-in form and drag it here, all right? There we go, above the text here. And there are designs that we can go with, all right? I think I like this one. Let's go with that. And there we go. So how are we going to edit this form? We're going to click on integration options, click edit, and you can choose whichever you want. I mean, I'm using Aweber, so I'll go with maybe, I'll just go with default email. This is just an example, by the way, but before this step, you should have already added your autoresponder. And if you haven't done that just yet, you click on this thing on the top right called add new integration, all right? I'm not going to show you how to do it right now because I already have done it. But just that if you haven't added your, autoresponder, like Aweber, get response, whatever, okay, you should be clicking here first. Then this option will be available. All right. So I'm just going to click on next step, by the way. All right. Now, basically, you just follow the fields, right? Now, normally I like to ask for name and email. Okay, I'm going to do that. Click next. And post action. So after someone puts their name and email, you want to send them to another web page, all right? So if you don't set this up, it's just going to tell you thank you. You're going to receive the email, which I feel is kind of lame, yeah? You want to redirect them to another address. If you already have it, you can do it. So I'm just making this up. By the way, this doesn't exist. I'm just going to put crushingin.com/thank you, right? Autofill form fields, yes, you should. Let's put on, make it easy for people to like sign up to you, whatever you have to offer, right? The less friction, the better. And I'm going to click close. So this is what the opt-in form will look like. Can you actually change anything like the colors or the font? Yes, you can. So we're going to click on this thing called form styling. All right. I think it looks normal. Let's go to color. Looks fine as well. Now, if you want to change anything here, that's totally cool. Now, if you want to change this particular wording, like enter your first name, you can as well. We can make it a required input icon if you want to. All right. So again, it's using IBM Plex, right? Let's just change it to like pop-ins again. Let's keep it consistent. There we go. All right. And here we go again. So I know I'm kind of glossing this part a little bit fast because I think this part is a little bit subjective where only when you're actually doing it, then you can actually decide what you really want, all right? But it's still the same skill altogether. I think if you've been watching up until now, you got to notice that the skill to create your headline, your text is quite similar to this, all right? We'll click on Get Instant Now, Instant Access, and I'm going to change the font again to Pop-ins, all right? Now, if you notice that it looks a little bit thin, what we can do is change the font weight to maybe bold. That's one thing I like. When you put it bold, then it looks like there's more authority to it. Black is going to be like the thickest of it all, but I seldom use it because I think that's a bit excessive. I like either semi-bold or bold for that matter, all right? Size 24, I think 20 is good enough. You can play with 24 if you want to. Maybe you can just leave it like that. And if you want to change the color once again, you can, all right? But right now, I think this is good. The background of the button looks good. The text, I think I prefer it to be black color. There we go. All right. Okay, so there's this thing called we process your personal data and blah, blah, blah. You can actually put anything you want over there. That's kind of something you would normally put for privacy policy. Okay, so if you want to change something here, you can. If you want to get rid of the space at the bottom, let's get rid of that. And it looks a little bit more neat. There we go. All right. So I want to click on Close Pop-up Editor. And right now it's called Overlay 1. So if you want to change your name, let's click on that again. And do you see the name at the left here, Name Overlay 1? Let's just call it Opt-in, all right? Opt-in. So we give it a name, click Close. And right now, so the question is, how are people going to see that form that we've just created, right? We'll click on this button here, click on the link, the chain icon, and go to Action, Show Pop-up Overlay, and we're going to choose Opt-in, the one we have just created, all right? Let's click Save, and let's see how this works, all right? Let's preview once again. There we go, all right? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to click on this button, and voila! How many of you noticed that the pop-up just appeared right after we click on that button, all right? Now, this form admittedly is not working right now because I did a really quick work, but this is kind of where you can put your name, email. You click on this button, then the form will work, all right? So there we go. So those are some of the essentials. Now, next up, now this will be for advanced users here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because, again, this is subjective. If any of you watching this right now, you want to add your own HTML code, maybe it's a script or something like that, but not for a page. It's something that you want to add over here. So on the top left, click on Elements, and we're going to look for this thing called Custom HTML, all right? There's this thing over here. So I know for beginners, you're like, oh, this looks a bit scary. Let's just put it here. And this is for the advanced users, by the way, all right? So you're going to put here, and whatever code you want to add here, you can just add it over here, all right? So again, this is very subjective. I don't plan to demonstrate anything like this right now. This is only for the benefit of advanced users. But if you're a beginner, you probably won't even be using it at all, all right? So if you don't want this thing here, once again, I think you kind of catch the drift right now. Click on Delete Element, and it's gone. Yeah, that's a very quick one, all right? Just for the benefit of some advanced users. Okay, let me just get a drink here. All right, now next part. Okay, even though that's really cool, but of course, the more practice you get, the better. So those of you who are watching this right now, I want you to type a word called box, all right? 3-letter word box, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now because we're going to create a feature box, okay? Because right now, this is just one section, and if you've been to any of my websites or any typical sales letter, you're going to see that there's always going to be section by section by section or row by row. So right now, what we're going to do is that we're going to take what we have learned so far, and let's repeat one more time, all right? So let's add new section. Let's add one column, and there we go, all right? So once again, I'm going to make this a bit fast because I'm repeating what I'm doing just now. I'm going to change the spacing at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to leave the background white color this time, all right? Let's go to the row, click on the gearbox, gear icon. Let's switch the width to 960. So I like to keep it consistent. You don't want it to be like narrow, wide, narrow, and so on. I like to keep it consistent all the way, all right? And click on Advanced Options. We're going to put margin and padding to be 0 for all these values as well. So we're going to keep the space relatively tight. And I'm going to jump to the next part where we're going to add some content, all right? Now remember, if you want to start dragging stuff around, like the elements here, you can. So like, for example, this image of a book looks a bit out of place. Let's click on the move icon, and you can actually drop it here, all right? And there we go. So you see that there's a book cover here. And speaking of image, you can also adjust the size. All right. There's a title here. You can remove it or you can type it manually as well. You can adjust the size by going to image size. Okay, you can play around with it. I'm just going to go with 225 pixels. I think it looks decent. All right. Image effects, you can play around with it, but I personally don't do that. All right. You can align the image left, center, all right. I'm going to leave it in the center right now. And if any of you want to make the image clickable, you can. So there's a link options over here. You can do the same thing. But personally, I'm not going to do it right now, right? So this is how we can play around with the each and every element. But right now, what I'm going to do is that I want to add a feature box. All right. I'm going to show you how to add a feature box. So on the left here, elements, we're going to look for this thing called feature box. Or if you want a quick one, we'll type the word box. All right, my bad. It's called feature block, all right? Not feature box, feature block. So if you don't know how to use feature block, we're going to drag it here, all right? And so if anyway you're building, a corporate style website, or you want to list out the benefits of, joining a program or buy a product or anything like that, this will be it, okay? So you can put 1, 2, or 3 or 4 elements. So I'm going to just put 3 for the fun of it, all right? And you can choose a preset for the design. Okay, let's just say I like this one, for example. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like, right? And you see this thing as a plus. That means you start adding more blocks if you want to, which I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just showing you an idea. Let's undo that. Now, what's interesting is that if you click on this block order, you can choose another preset for it. Okay, so it can be done in a very different way. Like you see, like, okay, I know it's a little bit silly. You have the word on top of the image, or you can have it look something like this, or like this, all right? But right now, I'm going to go with this because I think this makes the most sense. And the next thing we're going to do is click on block visibility, because personally for me, I don't like seeing a button over here unless I have to, right? So if you don't want to see the button here, let's remove display button. Okay, there's a subtitle, which I don't like as well. So right now we're going to have image, title, and text, all right? And if you just change one of this, it'll change the rest as well. So I'm going to just put this in the middle. There we go, all right? Pop-ins, okay. It's using headline font. I'm going to just change to headline 2. Font is a little bit big. I'm going to put it to size 24. Line height, I'm going to put 1.3. And if it's a bit too close to the bottom, right, space below element, you can move it. I like to put 12 for this, all right? Let's go to color, text color. Keep it consistent. I've been using this 2D all the way. Let's do that. And for this one, this is called the text as well. Let's change it. I think size, yeah, okay, size 16 is okay. All right, you can put in the middle if you want to. And you can also change the color once again. So guys, how many of you are seeing there's a pattern I've been repeating, right? And of course, not to underestimate it, you should get some practice for sure, right? Now, this is a feature box that you can use, or feature block for that matter, you can use to describe the features of your product. Or in my case, I might want to put testimonial, all right? So maybe I'll just put a testimonial here. So for example, I'll put an image. Let's replace it, by the way. And I'm going to use, I'll start with this handsome guy, all right? A good friend of mine, Gobala, all right? You can put the name over here, for example, or you can actually even remove the title here, that's fine. Now, if you want to change the image size, you can as well. But right now it's 100%, I'm going to leave it alone, all right? So this is probably where I might put his name here, all right? This is not a fake person, by the way. He's a real person, okay? All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste a written testimonial from him. There we go. All right. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to be like too serious about this, but yeah, you get the idea, okay? There we go. So I'm going to repeat the same thing with another testimonial. I'm going to do 2 more just for completion's sake. All right, this guy, good friend of mine from Singapore as well, Clement, yeah, cool guy. Okay, I'm going to just put it here, change his name, all right, and one more guy from Indonesia, Andri Salim. There we go. He's a big shot in Indonesia, by the way. Yeah. I'll paste the content here. All right, there we go. Click save. All right. Looking good. Okay, now if you notice that like a little bit of this weird space at the bottom here, so what you're gonna do, right, do you see this is like 40 over here? So what I'm gonna do right now is that we're gonna remove, you can change the space below like this. Okay, I'm gonna change it to this. Let's go to advanced options, and there we go. All right, so let's put this to 0, by the way, and the spacing looks better right now. Okay, fantastic. All right, so it's a bit respectable. And once again, let's take what we have learned before this. We're going to also add a headline at the top. So guys, the reason why I'm kind of showing all this to you is to let you know that you can actually repeat the same thing again and again with the same skill, all right? And yeah, it can look a little bit different. So I'm going to just paste something over here, phrases and testimonials, all right? And I'd like to change this setting to, okay, this is a gear icon. We're going to do a padding at the bottom. I like to put 24, all right? We're going to go to the text. Let's change the styling to headline 1 again. Size 32. Okay, I think this is very good. All right, let's click save. So I know, again, this picture looks a bit weird. Why are we having a floating image up here? We can always drag it around, all right? Or if you don't want it, we can delete it, all right? So let's click save. And let's see what the page looks like right now. Let's click on preview. Let's have a look, all right? There we go. How many of you feel that you've learned something new today? Type the word new into the chat box right now. Doable, isn't it? There we go. All right. And I'm only showing you a portion, by the way. And once again, just a reminder to you guys, this whole thing is being recorded. And by the time you get to watch this on my YouTube channel, I will be putting the timestamp for each of the particular skill, all right? So you can review that. All right. So let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, we still have 1, 2. Okay, good news for you guys. We have about 4 more. I think yeah, like 4 more like things to do. All right, like in terms of different skill. Okay, so next one, how are we going to add icons and trust badges? Okay, so I know this is not exactly like the correct sales ladder. I'm just showing you how we're going to do it. But what we're going to do right now is that I'm going to show you how we are going to add icons, okay, or trust badge for that matter. So very simple. I'll tell you what, maybe for the purpose of demonstrating this, I'm going to create another row, all right? So again, guys, every time we're building anything, it's always section, row, column, section, row, column. So what we'll do right now is that we're going to go to elements, and yes, we can actually add another row. Okay, we're going to put it down here. Let's just use maybe, I'm going to use 2 columns, all right? I'm going to show you something a little bit different for a change, because if any of you are thinking we're just going to build one flat website, I'm showing you that there is another way we can make it look a little bit nicer, okay? So this is what I call a 2 column, all right? And if you're watching this on a mobile, it's always from left to right. So I'll tell you what, rather than I talk about it, I'm going to show you, okay? So over here, you can even click on this plus icon here, and I'm going to add an image, all right? So I'll tell you what, let's add the picture of the book that we have deleted just now, right? But I'm going to choose this one for a change, okay? Let's click on insert. And there we go. And if you feel that this picture is a little bit too big again, let's go to image size, and reduce it. All right. Up to you. But I think we're going to reduce to maybe like 250 or maybe 300. Okay, I think this is good. All right. Let's go to the gear icon. I like to put a bit of space at the bottom. Let's put 12. And you can actually drag the column, right? It doesn't have to be 50-50. It can be, like what we're seeing here right now, 35-65 if you want to. Or it can even be like 40-60 ratio, right? You can just drag it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add the content here as well. Let's start again with adding the headline, all right? So let's just say, what is crushing it, all right? Just an example. Now we want to have a bit of spacing. Let's click on the gear icon and click on space below element, all right? And I'm going to add the paragraph. I'm going to add the content over here. All right, so let me just copy and paste some content. And there we go. So if you're wondering why I'm doing this backspacing here, by the way, I'm just trying to make it a bit neat. And spacing 12. Okay, good. So this is how you do what I call a 2 column, right? It can be 50-50. It can also be 60/40 or whatever ratio you want, and let's click save. All right. Now, I was talking about adding some icons. We will get to that in a short while. So this is how you do a 2-column. You can do 3 columns whatsoever. And what do I mean by left to right? Is because most of the time when people are watching this on mobile, if you're curious to know how it previews roughly, right? You see there's this preview icon up here, desktop, which is what we're seeing right now. We can go to tablet, which is iPad. iPad and desktop is almost the same, yeah, but I would say focus more on mobile. So this is what it will look like roughly in mobile. Okay, so again, you can see even for this 3 column, it will start from left to right, like this Gobala and so on. And then the book shows up first, and then only the right side. So it's always a left to right, left to right. So if any of you are adding your profile, right? Let's say, for example, this book appears over here, and this appears over here, all right? This is what will happen, all right? There we go. Okay, now it looks normal to you, but on desktop, it kind of looks kind of weird and ugly. Yeah? So I'm just showing an example. If you don't like that, let's click on undo and undo and undo again. All right. So this is what you should be doing. Okay, cool. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's see what we're going to do next. All right. We talked about adding a column. Now, if you're curious to know how you can customize the column to look like a Johnson box. So guys, if you're curious to know what is a Johnson box, right? Type the word Johnson into the chat box right now. Yeah, it's like a name of a guy, yeah? Johnson and Johnson. You know, J&J, Johnson? Yeah, so that is an actual name of a box, all right? So if you're curious to know how we can make this a Johnson box, right? What you can do is that you can select the column here. And do you see this borders and shadows? You can click on this dotted dash here. And you can actually edit the width. You can even change the color as well, all right? And there we go. So if you're curious to know how you can add a Johnson box, this is what is called a Johnson box. This is how you do it, all right? Now, if you don't quite like the spacing here, it's a little bit too tight. Remember, go on a column level, and we're going to adjust the spacing. So again, I'm quite big about spacing. You can put 12, 12, 12, 12, all right? So there's a little bit of spacing going on over here. All right, and if it feels a bit too spacious down here, not a problem. Let's remove this spacing below as well. All right. So I know you've been hearing me mentioning the word spacing throughout this entire training. That's something that a lot of beginners are not aware of. So that's why their website looks a little funny. They do not know what's wrong with it, but they can tell something is not right. And that's usually it. All right. So there we go. Okay. And if you think that this feature box is too close to this, we can actually increase the space below a little bit more. All right. Let's go for maybe 48. All right, there we go. And column gutter. I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. If you think there's too much space in between, you can actually reduce the column gutter like this, or maybe you can just put 24. I think this will look good. There we go. All right. That's right. Johnson box or J box. Okay, next up, let's talk about how are we going to add a built-in icon and trust badge. So this might as well be the order form. Yeah, so I'm making this up right now. Let's go to add another row again. If you want to, let's just add one more at the bottom. And I'm going to choose one column here. So let's just pretend that this is going to be the order form right now. Let's take what we have just learned, okay? Let's go to row. And this time I'm going to make it a little bit narrower, okay? Slimmer for that matter. I'm going to just put 800 because this is going to be the order form right now, all right? And I'm going to go to advanced options. Maybe I'll just put 24, 24, 24, 24. So this is going to be the padding, all right? And let's go to row, add the dashes. Maybe I like number 2, all right? Width number 2. I'm going to just add a red one, all right? So this is how you do a red Johnson box, right? So again, just making this up right now. And if you want the background color to be a bit different as well, let's go to this image here. This is what I call background options, all right? Let's change the background color to, let's say, yellow, all right? Or pale yellow for that matter. So if any of you have seen this kind of like, you know, the red outline with a yellow pale box, this kind of like where you normally like to put an order form, all right? So I'm just giving you some ideas here. And let's put a trust badge, all right? So I'm going to type the word trust badge. Okay, so what is a trust badge? So if any of you have seen this kind of icons like, you know, money back guarantee, SSL checkout secure and things like that, this is it, all right? So normally I like to do, maybe I'll just put this, all right? Yeah, it looks a little bit big, not a problem. You can reduce the size. Maybe I'll just put, let's try 55 for now, right? I think the color is fine. Let me just put 474747. Okay, too dim, right? Okay, I think this is good. All right. If any of you want, like, okay, how do I add a money back guarantee? Let's do it one more time. All right, you can do that as well. Okay, let's just say this is a 30-day money back guarantee, for example. I like this icon, and there we go. And we can adjust the size. I think 96 looks good. Let's go for the color. Let's change it to 2D again. So yeah, I'm going a bit fast because you guys kind of like catch the drift. And if you think it's a bit too close again, what do? You add the spacing. There we go. All right. Now, if any of you want to create a payment button and all that, so that depends on what kind of payment processor you're using. So someone asked that just now. We'll get to that in a short while, right? So now, if you want to add a button, okay, like this one over here, let's do that. But tell you what, rather than I create from scratch, how about I'm going to show you a technique. We're going to copy this, right-click, copy. Yeah, you can actually right-click on any elements here, by the way. You can right-click, copy, and then we'll scroll down here. We're going to click on paste. All right. You can drag it up. And normally for buy buttons, I like to make it a little bit different. Okay, this one will be smaller. I'm going to change the icon to a card. All right. So there are a lot of icons here, by the way. Take your time to explore, but I'm going to use a card right now. And I want to make it orange color this time. All right. So I'm going to change it to orange. Okay. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the best color right now because yellow and orange is a bit like similar, but just showing you an example. All right. And the text, let's make it black color this time around. Okay, we're going to go to text. There we go. And I like to call this add card. Yeah, there we go. So if this button is a bit too wide, we can still narrow it down. Maybe let's try 480. Yeah, I think this is good. And I don't want this to be bouncing anymore. So if you don't want this to be animating, you go to advanced options, down to button effect, and then we're going to click on none. So it doesn't do anything anymore. All right, let's click on this. Okay, there we go. All right, so if you want this to go to an order form, you click on link URL, and then whatever order form you're going to be putting on over here. All right. So the next question that you guys might ask is, okay, Edmund, you said something about icons. How do we add them? All right. So in this case, let's click on the plus one, and let's go for credit card. All right. So there are a few types of icons, but one of them is credit card icons. Okay. So we're going to put it down here, and I think you guys love that part because you want to collect payments, right? There we go. All right. So it's a little bit, yeah, random right now. So we got to choose the cards. Okay. So if you find that this is a bit too big, you can click on this card icon. Yeah, you can choose whatever you want. Yeah. You can even plus as well. I want to put the word, let's say Stripe, right? Stripe plus Visa, whatever. All right. Now, if it's too big, what we're going to do is that select the entire credit card and you can change the size. Okay. So you see this card icon, you can change the size to be a little bit smaller. I think 32 looks fine. Yeah, not too big, not too small. I think this is good. If you want to change like glyph or outline, you can. Yeah, but you can also put color if you want to. So there's some styles you can play around with. All right. So how many of you guys are noticing that this is starting to look more like a proper order form, right? And if you want to like move this up a little bit, you can. And there we go. Okay, you can adjust the size however you want, and maybe just for completion's sake, I'll just add one more icon. Let's put discover. There we go. So if you want everything to be the same, so one of the simple rules about web building, right? You want to try to keep things as aligned as possible, not too far away from each other. So I reduce the size here, so it's like almost the same. All right, almost the same. Just play around a little bit. Maybe let's try 50. Yeah, I like to try to keep it as close to each other as possible. There we go. All right. Now I'm not going to show you how to like build the entire order form, but I'm just showing you how to make this page functional. All right. So that's how you add the built-in icons. You can also add a trust badge. And now, for scarcity's sake, some of you may ask, hey, can you use a timer? And yes, you can. In fact, there are a couple of different types of timers. Let's go to one of them. I'm going to type the word timer. So you can see there's 3 types of timers, but frankly speaking, I normally use 1 or 2 of them, right? Let's go for the countdown, all right? We're just going to put it here for the fun of it. And there we go. There are many styles here, or a few styles for that matter. You can choose whichever one. I'm going to choose this one. I think this one looks the most appropriate one. Okay. And if it's too close, once again, go to gear icon and add the spacing. All right. Now let's adjust the timer. Let's end it at a very particular day. Let's just say, for example, I'm going to end it on the 30th of the month. All right, at a particular date or time. So this is always on the local time zone. Like for example, I'm in Malaysia. This is 8 p.m. Malaysian time, all right? But it'll convert for you to Greenwich, which, yeah, you can just make your own guess, all right? So once the timer counts down to 0, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to send people to another website, or do you want to like do nothing? So if you don't want to do anything, in my case, I prefer not to do anything. I'll just put hide timer, all right? And if you want to change the color, you can once again, let's change to something else like this. Maybe I'll just go put 2D again. Yeah, I know it's a little bit boring, right? Or maybe let's try 474747. Okay, I think this is better. Now, you can also change the unit color if you want to, but I like to keep it consistent, all right? And let's go to icons here. Sorry, text options. You can change it to any that you want, but again, you know me by now. I want to keep it all consistent. I think this looks good. If you find that the digits are a little bit too big or small, you can adjust. Okay, you can adjust the size, but I think 20 looks fine. And unit font size, this will be the one at the bottom. I think, yeah, not too small. I think size 14 looks good. And there we go. All right. Pretty cool, yeah? And if you want to make it like look a little bit more complete, you can copy back this picture of the product. Right-click, copy, and then I'm going to right-click and paste here. So normally whatever you paste on, you always paste at the bottom, all right? So this is starting to look like a, you know, starting to take shape, all right? Starting to take shape. You want to add your words here? Yes, you can as well. Let me just see if there's anything I can copy and paste over here as well, all right? Okay, I know it's not exactly the right, like the most right thing to do, but I'll just do it anyway. Let's add a headline. Paste the words here. Only limited copies available. All right. Now, if you want to highlight the text, okay, you can select this whole thing, and this pour icon, you can change it to any color you want. Now, I normally like to put yellow, but it kind of doesn't make sense now because it's really yellow background. Maybe I'll just put white just to show you an example. Okay. Okay, maybe not white. How about green? Okay, make sure the opacity is full, by the way. All right. So there we go. Yeah, I know the color is kind of gaudy, kind of weird. So guys, be careful with your coloring. This is kind of why whenever you build a web page, always make sure that it uses 2 main color schemes. Yeah, so now it looks kind of weird right now. It's like I don't know, a frog has been here and took a dump here somehow. All right. So maybe I just put red. Yeah. Not the best color, by the way, but just to prove a point to you. Okay. And if you feel the color is a bit weird, you can change the font color to maybe white in this case. All right. Once again, I know it's not pleasing on the eyes. I could do a better job given a bit of time, but just showing you that this is what you can do, okay, with this kind of thing. So let's see what else we can do. All right, we have countdown timer, and yeah, actually, you know what? As far as basic OptimizePress page building goes, this is pretty much it. Now, of course, there are many other things you can do with all the other features. You know, like yeah, quite a number of them. You know, add icons. You can embed date and time, FAQ, and things like that, which I think it's not something I want to explore here right now. But with these basic skills, you can be building, you know, a page like this, all right, like what you're seeing here right now. So on that note, since we have a bit of extra time, I want to take this opportunity to do something a bit more advanced. Now, this is for those of you who are using OptimizePress 3, but with the checkout feature. That means like what someone was asking just now, can I accept payments through OptimizePress? And yes, because in their middle plan, I don't remember the name right now, but in their middle plan, there is this feature called OptimizeCheckout, which allows you to accept payments by Stripe and even PayPal for that matter. But I'm not a PayPal fan. I'm going to show you how to use Stripe. So at this juncture onwards, this is going to be for advanced users, all right? And I'm going to show you, yeah, basically just one more skill to go, right? Just one more advanced skill, and then there'll be a wrap towards this, okay? So how do we do that, all right? So first of all, you got to go back to your WordPress admin. And even though I already have the feature installed, but I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit from scratch, right? Go to your OptimizePress dashboard and make sure that you have this thing called OptimizeCheckouts installed and activated. Now, once again, this feature is available to you only if you're going for that so-called middle plan, all right? Because there are a few plans within OptimizePress, and the most basic one doesn't come with this. So you have to go for an upgrade if you haven't just yet, right? So OptimizeCheckout allows you to take payments and sell your products from the site. And you can even do upsell offers as well, which I'm not going to cover that right now because upsell offers is kind of like really advanced. And it's something that if I'm going to do it, I would prefer to do that in another video. It's not so essential, all right? Not so essential, to be very frank, okay? So make sure that this is installed and activated. And on the left, you're going to see this thing appear called checkouts, right? The one with the rocket sign. Let's click on that and let's just go to dashboard, all right? Let's just go to dashboard. Okay, so when you install for the first time, and yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed to say this, I've not transacted any sales from this particular site until now, but good for you, you know, it shows that this is what a new site would look like, all right? And all your orders will appear here, recurring and so on, right? So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go to settings first, all right? Let's go to settings. And you're gonna see that there are 3 things that you can connect right away. Now, if you haven't done it just yet, this will be, they will ask you to connect this, all right? I don't have a PayPal account. If you want to enable Apple and Google Pay, you also can, all right? So there are basically 3 methods of payment that you can receive, all right? But I think Stripe will be the go-to right now. So we'll click on configure this. I'm not going to show you the full step, by the way, because I've already done it. But what happens here is that you need to go through each of the step here, Stripe test mode and Stripe live mode, all right? When you click on edit, for example, they will ask you to follow the steps, which I can't show it to you right now because I've already done it. But just follow the steps here, all right? But once you do, the end result is that you're going to get this thing called a signing secret, okay? You can only get this from your Stripe account. So remember, guys, you need to have a Stripe account first for this to make sense, all right? Have a Stripe account and then do this step, all right? Stripe is free to open, by the way. So once you follow all these steps, you have this signing secret, which again, I can't show you exactly because I've already done it. Click update and you're good to go. You're going to do the same thing with live mode as well. So if you guys are wondering what's the difference between test mode and live mode, it's basically, you know, sometimes you want to do test payments, but you're not really doing a transaction. This is why you're doing it. And Stripe Live is when your website is live, you're like really receiving payments. Okay, so that's why there's a test and a live here. Okay, next up, business information. Okay. So this is my business details. I'm not going to like show you all of it. This is where you're going to be putting it because whenever someone buys from you, what's going to happen is that your customers are going to be receiving a receipt from you. Okay. So in this case, from, you know, the website, my email, all right. And what kind of emails should they be getting? All right. Order receipt email, and you, the admin, you get an email whenever there's a sale. So this is what an order will look like. If you want to edit, yeah. But personally for me, I don't edit any of this. Whenever a customer buys, they'll just receive a default email, which is quite good enough, all right? Additional settings. I don't think you need to do anything here. So I would say that for this tree, Amazon S3 and labels, you don't have to do anything, right? So 1, 2, 3, you can skip that, all right? You only need to do 1, payment gateway, business information, and email. That's about it, all right? The next 3, you can leave it alone. So we're quite good to go, all right? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to products. And I'm going to show you how to add a first test product. So of course, I've already added something over here, but let's do it from scratch. So click on create new product at the top right. Let's give it a name. I'm just going to call it test because I'm going to delete it afterwards. Description, this is a test product, only for you to know, all right? For me to know, for you to find out. Category, so for beginners, you're not going to have any category here whatsoever. You can come up with a name by going to new category. But since I created one before called products, I'm going to use that. And next one is called successful redirect URL. That means whenever someone has completed a payment successfully, where are you going to send them to? So this is typically the thank you page, all right? So I'm going to put a fictional page here right now, which actually doesn't exist. But let's say it does, all right? Let's click create new product. That's right. Okay, so you can see that there are some steps we're going to go through right now. Let's click add new plan. Interestingly, guys, with this, you can also have installment plans if you want to. So it could be a one-time fee, or it could be a payment plan, installment, or a subscription where you just keep billing every month or every certain period, all right? So right now it's going to be simple. I'm just going to call it, $14.95 right now, okay? As an example. If you want it to be a subscription, you'll be, you can put $14.95 every month, all right? But since this is a one-time fee, okay, my bad. The first one is called a name. Yeah, I kind of misread that. I'll just call it one-time payment, only for you to know, by the way. So the fee is $14.95. All right, let's click save. All right, then we go to payment gateway. We're going to choose Stripe, which is what we have done before. Payment mode, we're going to put live if we are going to be running this for real. Okay, if you are not going to run it just yet, you want to do some tests, we just go to test mode. Okay, let's put it live and make sure that it is enabled. Click save. And then the next part, included files. Now, personally, I don't do this, but if you are sending something very simple like an ebook, you can do that, but I don't really do this. I'm gonna like skip this one, okay? And integration rules. So for those of you who are doing customer list building, right, you want to make sure that whenever someone buys anything from you, they are added to your email list right away. So you add the integration rules over here. That's how important this is. So I'm gonna click add rule. All right, let's call it, I'm going to name it Aweber. That's the name of my autoresponder, all right? I want to trigger this only when someone has made a payment and integration service Aweber. That's my favorite autoresponder, by the way. And then we're going to select a list, all right? So maybe I'm just going to call it Crushing It Book Bias. So remember, these are the lists that already exist of my autoresponder. So if you haven't done it just yet, create that list and then come back here, all right? And if you want to add any tag, I'm going to just call it buyer, okay? So then we're good to go. Click add rule and we're done. All right, so we already have a product within OptimizeCheckout and we can sell through this website, okay? So you don't need a third party for this one. Let's go back to this, okay? So because we have just added that product, we need to refresh this, okay? So I'm going to refresh this right now, which may take some time, so I'm going to just have a sip of tea here. There we go. All right. So here's the thing. All right. What we're going to do right now is that how are we going to receive payment from the website? So what I like to do is I like to add a payment method. So one way is that you can edit the form directly to this page, or you can edit in a pop-up form. So I tell you what, just for the sake of this example, I'm going to click on elements and I'm going to scroll down to this thing called checkout form. So the undercut elements, we go and checkout form. I'm just going to put it here. All right. And there we go. So it's going to ask a few questions. Create product. Let's choose the test product we just created. You can have an order bump if you want to. That means like an upsell, but I'm not going to show that right now. Okay, we just have one product, very simple. Checkout form. So what are the questions that we want to ask the customer? Okay, so you want the product ID and email address. Okay, you can't change this. Okay, if you want them to confirm the email address, you can. First name, last name. If you want to ask for company name, I think we should. Street address, I will want to do that because I'm sending a book in this case, or in this example. City, state, everything, right? Phone number. Okay, VAT ID, I don't need that. And different country checkout, I don't need that, all right? Now, if you think you're going to offer a coupon, we can enable that, but I don't have a coupon in this case, so I'm going to not choose that. So you just choose whichever fields that you want people to fill in, all right? So, but remember, guys, the more fields there are, the more hurdles there will be. So in this case, let's say you are selling a digital product, you don't need address, okay? You don't need all of this. But because if I'm sending a physical product, I will require that. So only ask if it makes sense, okay? So in this case, it does. I will click next step. Submit action. That means someone who buys it successfully, they go to product success URL, which is quite good enough, all right? And then we're complete. Let's go. And here we are. We just created a form, okay? We just created a form. And again, let's mind the spacing. Let's just add space below at 24. All right. Now, so at first glance, you may not like what you're seeing here. Like, for example, this is a little bit too small for my take. All right. Let's increase the size to maybe 17. All right. This here, input, let's increase it. Or let's change the font as well. Pop-ins and yeah, that's just the label. Let's go for input. All right. Okay. Looks better now. Okay. Same thing here. Let's see if all this needs any change. Okay, we don't need that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going around changing the font a little bit. And I think let's go for size 17 in this case. All right. And if this button doesn't look nice to you, because it's all like all black, right? We can change it. All right. We can change it to maybe orange color, like what we did just now. All right. And if it's too narrow, Okay, if it's too narrow, what we can do is we can also increase the size. All right, now I'm just changing the font, by the way. Yeah, I'm just being a completionist here, but you guys get the idea, right? There we go. We can increase the button height. We can have an icon. Let's have a cut. All right, let's have a cut here. And I don't like this color. I like it to be black text. All right, let's go for black text. I'm going a bit fast right now because I'm actually just repeating the same method here. Okay, I don't like the word submit payment. Let's change it to add to cart. All right. And if this feels a little bit narrow, let's just increase it a little bit more. All right, maybe size 70. And if you find that maybe the width is a little bit small, but a bit too wide, you can change it. But yeah, we can also change this a little bit. All right, let's go to this, slightly rounded. There we go. Okay. Ta-da! Let's click on that. All right, so I think this is a bit redundant here. So we don't need this button. We can just delete that and we can use this. Okay. That's it. All right, guys, I've shown you most of the essential elements and what it takes to build an OptimizePress 3 marketing page. Now, of course, this will come with practice as well, but these are all the essential skills that you need to build a web page like this with OptimizePress. All right. So at this juncture, actually, I'd say we're kind of done right now, and hope you guys find this rather useful. Okay. So once again, just a reminder, guys, that if you just want to review some steps, I'll be putting a timestamp on each of the element in this video when I put it on YouTube, so that you can just like retread some parts. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys.